Welcome, everyone. If you'd stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to our first meeting of 2015. Thank goodness it's nice and warm outside. If you're watching from home. I'm kidding. We've got some couple of presentations before we start the regular meeting. Some good news to start off 2015, in my opinion. First one of those, actually, Lou, why don't we send it your way?
Mr. Chairman and members of the Town Council, you have a special presentation from M. Candace Panza, the Executive Director of the Bristol Housing Authority, presenting the annual pilot check. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. Excuse the coat. I'm freezing. I hope you all had a chance to look at our annual report, and that was done in-house. And it's kind of an overview, as usual, of the Bristol Housing Authority.
Very well done.
I think most important, though, the most important article in there was the story about Marie Tucker. She couldn't be here tonight because she was under the weather. She's one of our residents at Benjamin Church Manor. Marie is a World War II vet. She was a Navy nurse, and she treated many, many men that came back from the war. And she's got so many stories to tell, and she belongs to the American Legion, the Veterans Home. She volunteers everywhere. She's just an amazing woman. And, the stories that she has to tell about the men that did come back from World War II are very sad and very heartwarming. But she's just a very strong, courageous person. She was chosen a few years ago to represent the United States Navy in World War II. They were doing a special project, which was a bus wrap in Orlando, Florida, and on the outskirts of Florida. And she was chosen to be the face of the United States Navy during World War II. They flew her whole family down, and it was quite an honor. She got to meet the president, and but that's one of the faces of our residents at Benjamin Church. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just amazing the stories that can be told by the people that do live there, and they are really all good people and wonderful people. So, and she was very sad that she couldn't come tonight, but she was not feeling too well, and especially with this cold weather. And just one other thing I'd like to say here, too, is just a kind of an overview of the contributions the Housing Authority has made to the town of Bristol. Last year, we paid over $1 million to our Section 8 landlords in Bristol, and hopefully they spent some of that money here in Bristol. In supplies and contracts, we spent $162,000, payroll benefits over $500,000, and everybody that works at the Housing Authority, except for one employee, lives in Bristol. And we also house 225 of the Bristol residents at our subsidized housing. So I think we're a big part of Bristol, proud to be in Bristol, and happy to be here tonight. And I want to thank all of you, all the townspeople and all of the officials and the town council, and especially a special thank you to our liaisons. That would be Ed Stewart and Nate Caluro. They're always there. I can pick up the phone and talk to them anytime. They're two great people. So I guess our biggest contribution to the town is $57,163 check, which is a pilot check in lieu of taxes. And just to say thank you again for all that you do for the Bristol Housing Authority. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I thought it was going to be the big one.
That's a red box comment.
Let me make a comment.
Yes, please.
Candy, thank you. I love the article on Marie Tucker. As you know, she's been active in politics for many, many years, and I've known her for many, many years. And, when I've heard some of her stories, and I was just recently learned about the role that she has with this group in Washington. And she goes down there, I think she's like 88 years old, and they pick her up and take her to the plane, and she goes down and she does this meeting. Of course, there aren't that many World War II vets still around, and she's one of them that participates, and she's so proud of her service. And I was so happy when I looked at this and I saw her profiled in this, so thank you for doing that. And it really does highlight some of the remarkable citizens that we have in our community. I had the opportunity to talk to a couple people, some who lived at Benjamin Church and some who didn't, over the holidays at a gathering I was at. And you find out such interesting things of who's worked where and the interesting things they've done in their lives, and it's really quite remarkable. So thank you for highlighting that, and hopefully that's something you do on a regular basis of some of the profiles.
We do, and she's just an amazing woman. She really is.
Yeah.
She's one tough cookie.
Oh, yeah. I hope she feels better. I hope she feels better. She's
Yeah.
always been very supportive and very helpful when.
She's terrific. She really is.
Is it interesting to read that she's been living in Bristol for 67 years?
Exactly.
I mean, that makes her a true Bristolian.
Yes.
I like that line.
Even though she's still a carpetbagger. I know
Thank you
how it
again.
feels. I've only been here 46 years.
I keep putting in your time, Candy.
Well, thank you again.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
The next item, Mr. Chairman, members of the Town Council, we have Mr. Joseph M. Brito, Jr., the President of Mount Hope Trust in Bristol.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Joe.
Welcome.
To the Bristol Town Council, townspeople of Bristol, Rhode Island. In 2010, the Town Council of Bristol, Rhode Island, representing the people of this fair town, agreed to support the future of Mount Hope Farm through the approval of a loan in the amount of $200,000. The loan provided critical funding for the farm and highlighted the town's commitment to the property's history as well as its eye toward the future. Many successful leaders tell us that effective change happens in 5-year increments. For Mount Hope Farm, this adage rings true. With the support of the town of Bristol and the ongoing leadership of a dedicated board of trustees and that of their aggressive executive director, the farm is ahead of its goals. Since 2010, the farm has completed critical restoration on the Governor Bradford House, the Cove Cabin, and its Civil War-era barn. Since 2010, the farm has instituted one of Rhode Island's premier farmers markets, operating year-round and supporting local growers from around the state. In 2010, the farm has provided ongoing learning opportunities for hundreds, its fireside lecture series and October Sundays being attended by people from Maine to Miami. Since 2010, the farm has been supporter of the other community causes, contributing resources, time, and money to the East Bay Food Pantry, the Bristol Warren Educational Association, the Bristol Animal Shelter, and more. Since 2010, the farm has enhanced its grounds and trails, provide welcoming access, open space for recreational walkers and runners of all ages for this town and others. In 2013, the farm partnered with Brown University, taking on the property management of the Half and Raffer Grant property and being named as steward of the Native American sites located on the Brown properties. In 2014, the farm launched its first series of 4-H clubs, a volunteer-based children's program offering children from ages 5 through 18 the opportunity to learn by doing in activities ranging from feeding the goats to launching a rocket.
Wow.
In 2014, the Inn at Mount Hope Farm was named the best historic stay by Yankee Magazine. In 2014, the farm launched Hands for Hope, an internship program for college-age youth. In 2014, the farm served as the opening event for the Rhode Island Land Trust Days, a series of events aimed at increasing Rhode Island land users and understanding our state's protection of open space. In 2014, the farm launched a partnership with the James Almar Center, offering vocational training and opportunities for developmentally challenged adults. The farm achievements have been hard-won, steering to completion and success by a dedicated board of trustees and, again, their very active executive director, and a small but mighty staff of 6 full-time employees, all working to preserve and protect the 127-acre National Historic Site that is Mount Hope Farm, as well as the steward as well as steward the additional 373 acres and facility space of the neighboring Half-and-Rafford Grant property owned by Brown University. 4 years into this elusive 5-year plan, our leadership, partners, and future look bright. It is an amazing and sometimes daunting effort, but if this small crew was the captain of a ship, our North Star has and always will be the community that supports us, our members and committees, the town council and offices that provide us a framework for growth, and the many townspeople who show their support through participation, volunteering, and through word and deed. The Mount Hope Farm Board of Trustees is pleased to respond to the town's support by repaying our $200,000 loan in full this past December 29th, 2014, 6 months early. We offer our gratitude to all who gave the farm full consideration in 2010 and our sincere appreciation for the forward-thinking individuals who saw the farm something worth investing in for the past, the present, and the future. Thank you, Bristol, for your commitment to preserve Mount Hope Farm and protect it. In service, Joseph M. Brito, President, Mount Hope Farm. Thank you very, very much for allowing this to all happen. If it wasn't for the belief that this council had in 2010, I don't know what the farm would look like today. And I have one last thing to say. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that though we had a very strong group of trustees who we never always agreed, but what made us where we are today, I have to say that Jennifer Bristol has been the guiding light for a lot of this for the past several years, with getting us grants through different organizations and guiding us as well with the amount of patience that she had with a young group of trustees. So I have to say it's a team effort, and to that end, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I saw Joe at the Christmas party for Harbor Commission, and I had mentioned to him that a lot of times people have come up to me and said, well, how much does it cost to go to the farm? And this is the free reminder. It's free. You can go there at any point when the sun is out there in the sky. I know my family, my wife and my kids go down and feed the ducks every once in a while and just take a walk down there, and there's more than a few people who enjoy it. So if you haven't gone, we have so many beautiful things here in Bristol, and Mount Hope Farm is a great example of so much that we have to be thankful for. So thank you very much.
And Joe, I'd just like to say, thank you for meeting that goal.
Yes.
It's so important getting that money back, and it's amazing to me that you set the goal, you met the expectation, and you're a real asset to the community, and we look forward to getting you signed up for something else, I hope. But Mount Hope is lucky, we're lucky, and we appreciate all your hard work. Thank you.
I think that's the main thing is that, you told me in a conversation, I don't know, maybe it was in the summer, and then you came here and you told us that it was, your goal to have it paid off by the time, I believe, your term as president concluded, which was around now, and you did that. And I think that's a big part of the faith that we had when, new board was put in place and the leadership of that board. People like yourself, Joe, that, instill confidence that, you're going to work hard and meet those goals. And I personally appreciate that very, very much, and I know the town does as well. So thank you for everything that you've done, and the board and everyone, to make the farm what it is today, and to be able to, pay that off. So often people are skeptical, when a town gives a loan to an organization that they may never see that money again, and you all made a commitment to pay that back and to pay that back early. So thank you very much.
I also would like to thank you and your board. As you said, it's a team effort. It's a hidden treasure, as the chairman said. So it's a nice public announcement once again and time again to tell the community that it's a community effort, and we need their involvement to keep it going on all your hard efforts that you put into it. And with that, I just would like to extend my gratitude, and also to my gratitude to Town Administrator Antonio Texera, past Chairman Ken Marshall, and Councilman David Barboza, along with my colleagues, Councilwoman Mary Perella and Councilman Halsey Harris-Shaw, for their initial support behind that endeavor. So, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, I'd just like to say that we're all, and I think in this we can well include those watching, we're all tremendously proud of the Mount Hope Farm. Its history is very vital to the town, and its appearance is magnificent as you drive by there, and everything that's going on there is something that we all have to be very proud of. So I salute you and your board, and certainly Jennifer Bristol, who's so appropriately named. And
Your parents knew, didn't they?
we have to be so proud that you, all in 4 or 5 years, have gone from a very low position to what looks like great strength that ensures the future to be very golden at Mount Hope Farm. So thank you all very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
The next item, Mr. Chairman, members of the Town Council, is the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Is there a second?
I'll second, but I just have a small correction to make on that.
Go ahead.
On A6,
We're not on that one yet. We're on consent agenda.
Just the,
yeah, there's sorry, consent agenda.
Consent
Sorry, I'm
agenda.
talking about the
That's
minutes.
yep.
Sorry.
Okay.
so there was a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay, the next is items A1 through 10, which is submission of minutes of previous meetings, and Mr. Sweeney has a correction on A6.
A6, page 16. It's just, let me get there. It is second paragraph. It says, prior to taking the vote, Keith Maloney, chairman of Revaluation Committee, it just needs to be changed to recycling. Just wanted to make that note, that's all.
That auto text sketch every once in a while.
No problem, no problem. I just wanted to make it a point of that.
So is there a motion to approve?
So with that change, I would move that we approve all of these documents as written.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item is a public hearing. This is the consideration of the request of Pandaria Corporation doing business as 531 Asian Cuisine, 531 Wood Street, who is the current owner, for a transfer of the liquor license to Q for J and Y LLC, doing business as Sawa Asian Bistro, which is a new owner, new name at the same address. You have several late items provided. Recommendation of the Town Administrator and Chief of Police to approve. Recommendation of the Town Administrator and the Fire Chief to approve with certain conditions. You have a claim for services rendered by Alfred R. Rago, Jr., and also, there is a late item which came in just shortly before the meeting began, which was a letter from, or rather an email letter from David Barboza, who's an abutting property owner. The letter requests that it be read into the record if the council would so choose. And this is an advertised public hearing.
So we're going to open the public hearing. Is anyone here to speak in favor? Please come up. Welcome.
Hi, how are
Good
you?
evening.
Good evening. All right. And my name is Xiaoli. Okay.
Charlie?
Welcome.
All right.
So do you want to tell us,
Basically, we just want to transfer the liquor license from previous owner to us. And then later on, we're going to cut the bar area because before they make a bar very big. I think that's not legal. Then we're going to cut it to 3 parts. One part is a counter, and we can put a computer and desk over there. And the another part is for sushi bar area. So people are going to eat sushi there. And the sushi chef going to prepare the sushi over there. We only put a little section as a service bar only. And so we will not allow people sitting on the bar because we know it's not legal doing that. Yeah.
so if I heard you right, you're saying that the current bar that's there will be changed over, the top will be taken off, there's going to be a sushi bar there,
Yeah.
and just a service bar. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Are you the applicant? Are you the applicant? Are you the new owner?
Yes.
You are the new owner?
Yeah. Actually, my husband. But My husband is the new owner,
Okay.
but we're gonna doing the business together. Yeah.
Have you been involved with this business in the past?
No,
Not at all? Mm-hmm. Have you ever run a restaurant before?
my father, and he's been run a restaurant for over 4 years, and he has a restaurant in Connecticut, and he's selling Chinese, Thai, and Japanese food. And I've been working that restaurant over 2 years, and before I was working at a restaurant before, and I know how to be in a service as a waitress. And my husband know how to cook Chinese, Thai cuisine, and his friend gonna taking care of the sushi bar because he know how to make sushi. So we're working like a family restaurant, and we hope we're serving as the best as we could. But mostly part we wanna sell more food than drink. The drink only gonna be supplementary for the food because I know mostly people like to drink a little bit when they having food, but they won't drink a lot, right? Because as we're selling more food, because we're gonna have a big menu. We're having Chinese, Thai, and Japanese food, all that, and also we have some drink beside the alcohol.
You're aware of the problems that this establishment had in the past, recently? The problems with the the bar and with party, with a lot of entertainment that was not allowed?
We won't do that part too, because it's just gonna be service bar. Yeah.
No, they don't, but I'm just asking if she's familiar with the problems.
I'm not really.
Sorry.
To the councilwoman's point, was it specified to you clearly and outlined to you the specifications and licenses and just what you have to do to get this restaurant going and what's entitled on your part?
Yeah.
Actually, before we go any further, Andy wanted to share some information. So.
Yeah, if I could add, because we did have that concern, there currently is pending an appeal to the zoning board of the notice of violation. Today, the property was inspected by Richard Pimentel, our building official, and Edward Tanner, our zoning enforcement officer. And they met with this woman and looked at the bar itself, and clearly there is a bar there now, which is not allowed. There's plumbing and sinks and everything like that behind the bar, which would clearly be very expensive to have to rip out. But they did come up with a plan basically to remove the top of the bar, cut back the top of the bar, so that there won't be room there at the bar for you to pull up a chair to and sit and have a drink or food. It will basically just be a half wall dividing the restaurant between the sinks on one side and the other part. And they do understand that the condition would remain as a service bar, which the town has defined as where alcohol is provided to wait staff, who then bring it to the customers, but not directly to the customers. That's what we have maintained as our definition of service bar. And as well as you heard, also part of it would be occupied with a sushi case, and part of it would be occupied with a cash register area, so that there would not be a large open bar area.
I'm confused on one point, and that is on the sushi bar section. You're saying that there'll be no seating at all at any of this?
That's
Is
my
that right?
understanding,
I thought that
yes.
I thought you were going to have people come and sit at the sushi bar. No?
Is that okay? Or if not, we won't do that.
Well,
We just
I'm
need
just,
a
I'm just at,
But
I thought that
my
you were
understanding
asking us,
was that the sushi bar was just a display area where the sushi chefs would be working behind it to
Yeah,
prepare it,
making sushi.
but that people wouldn't be sitting there at the bar.
Yeah, I agree with her question.
I thought they were
I thought it
talking
was
about
just
the
going to be a
sushi bar.
display, because if you go and you're sitting at the bar and the waitress comes and I think it's just being at a bar.
It's like a counter, yeah.
Exactly.
I thought that was what she was saying, that they were going to sit at the sushi bar. I just wanted to clarify, because I thought I heard two different things, but I might be wrong.
May I show you the pictures? That might be clear.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'd love to see the plans.
Right. Okay.
So it's going to be in the corner.
So their plan has the seating at the end of the sushi bar part.
Okay. Well,
Or if they can live without it, they said.
Well, can I just ask you to return to the mic so we can, everybody needs to be able to hear what you're saying. If the council, obviously, you can deny this. You can defer action on it if you feel you need more plans. And I haven't seen the plans. I've only talked to Mr. Tanner and Mr. Pimenta today. But if you can also, if you want to approve it, conditioned upon the approval of the zoning enforcement officer. And I know he's the one who issued the violation on the definition of the service bar and was prepared to approve it, but only after the work is done. And I gather also you have some questions too. There's some fire violations that'll have to be taken care of according to some of the other late items and as well.
Well, Andy, was there any indication in this inspection today as to when they're going to remove the bar?
No, it was this just came up today. I talked to this young lady this morning and indicated that we had this problem and it was going to lead to a postponement tonight if it wasn't, because otherwise it's still headed to a zoning appeal. And
I, as one councilor anyway, am a little uncomfortable with granting approval until those physical changes have been accomplished. And certainly I wouldn't want to grant the approval without a condition that they have to be accomplished before the approval can be implemented.
Absolutely. I mean, the first one, that's up to you. Obviously, the second one, it is certainly enforceable, and that would be my recommendation too, that the license will not issue from this office until the changes are actually made.
And I think the petitioner should understand that you've inherited a kind of a bad history at this facility, and we have a letter here from a neighboring property owner, Mr. Barboza, who has had a great deal of trouble there. And so, either fairly or unfairly, we're very cautious about this because we don't want any more trouble there along the lines of what we've already had. It's going to depend upon you to ensure the place runs properly. And, for example, I would get the assumption from the testimony tonight that you're not going to have a whole lot of people standing around the sushi bar with drinks in hand. I think it's better probably if it's the way you describe it as ornamental and demonstrating what's going on, but having the delivery of the sushi to the tables by the same wait staff that provides the drinks to the tables.
Yeah.
Is that the way it'll be?
I think so.
Maybe you don't understand my question.
Yeah, it's just saying like having people having food and sushi on the table instead of sushi.
In any event, we want the place to be run very orderly and not have any troubles there. And also, is it agreed that the closing time would be 11 p.m.?
Well, it's at 10, theirs on D2 is 10 o'clock Monday through Thursday,
Right.
Friday and Saturday at 11, and Sunday at 9:30. So I say the earlier the better than the 11. I think those are good hours myself.
I think we're in a public hearing, so I'm just waiting to hear the rest of the testimony,
Please.
and then I'll state what I want to say.
Does anybody else have any questions for the applicant?
I have one other. In your father's restaurant,
Yeah.
does he have a sushi bar? Do people sit at that sushi bar?
Yes, but not very often.
Not very.
So it's not a requirement for
Not
your success. Is that true?
Not required.
So if we were not to approve that portion of it, would you?
It's okay.
Okay.
It's now definitely we need that. If now we just get rid of all the things over there.
You get rid of all the
Yeah.
whole bar area, and then everything would be served at the tables.
Yes.
And that's okay.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else? Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Anyone else to speak in favor? Anyone else to speak in favor? Anyone to speak against? Anyone to speak against? Anyone to speak against?
Make a motion to close the public hearing?
Seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, hearing the testimony tonight and what has been presented to us between the attorneys, I would make a motion to continue this item upon the recommendations of our departments and the specifications be corrected, more outlined to us in a better format, presented to us, and also the exact menu that you plan on providing for your customers. In no way, shape, or form am I trying to hinder the timetable of your business. Just trying to be cautious. Due to the fact of the past history there, we just want to make sure that everything is in its proper place to make sure that you're going to have a success there, and we want you to have a success there. So that's why I would like to continue this.
And I'll second Councilman Stewart's motion. We want to dot our I's, cross our T's. We want to make sure we have the plan in front of us, what it's actually going to look like. Again, we've had the history behind it, and we just want to make sure we make all the right steps going forward.
Any other discussion?
May I?
Please.
May I just also indicate, with the plan, you don't show any chairs at all in the plan. You only show tables. You need to show the chairs for two reasons. You need to show the chairs, how many around each of the tables you're going to have so that the capacity can be calculated. And also that will make clear, too, that you're not having the seating at the sushi area on the bar. So please show the chairs on the plan as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we have a motion to continue. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item, Mr. Chairman, members of the Town Council, is the second reading for adoption of Ordinance 2014-11. This is to create the new parking scheme for Siegel Street.
I would move second reading and passage.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay. The next item was the license that is under consideration, okay? And then we also have a request from the same would-be transferee for a vitrilling license. There are several recommendations from the town administrator and the chief of police to approve, and from the town administrator and the fire chief to approve with conditions.
So would we hold that all off until we
Probably a good idea.
continue with the whole thing?
So going to get a motion to continue?
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay, the next item is the petition of Matthew Dame, request for a dog kennel license. This is continued from December 17th. You have supplemental information provided by Mr. Dame and also a request for a continuance to the next meeting.
I would move the continuance in accordance with that request.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item is the petition of Joseph Brazeras of Dunkin' Donuts, 381 Metacom Avenue, request council consideration for vitrilling license. You have the recommendations provided by the Town Administrator and Department of Water Pollution Control to approve with conditions, the recommendation of the Town Administrator and Fire Chief to approve, and late item recommendation from the Town Administrator and Chief of Police also to approve.
With that said, I make a motion we grant the victualling license to C&C Donuts, located 381 Metacom Avenue, upon all the conditions and approvals and ordinances and rules and regulations of the state and town laws.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Wait.
Oh, sorry.
I'd just like to say that I think they've pulled kind of a miracle to take that old dilapidated building and
And it looks good.
put it together into something that looks pretty good.
I know.
And do it so quickly. We only now have 4 Dunkin' Donuts in Bristol, so they must like Bristol.
Plenty of caffeine.
I think Bristol likes Dunkin' Donuts, actually. So.
Yeah.
But please.
If I may, before you
Yes.
vote, I think this is kind of covered in Councilman Stewart's motion in conformance with all laws, but they've put on their form the hours of operation 4 a.m. to 12 p.m., and under state law, the victualling license is only good from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. So they can't open at 4 a.m. without applying for a further license, which requires a public hearing and notice. So
I would like to amend my motion by adding that the hours of operation be contingent on them applying for that said license.
I'll second.
And is there a precedent for obtaining, relaxing of those restrictions?
I'm sorry?
Is there a precedent for sometimes relaxing those?
Yes, you can. I mean, you can grant 24-hour licenses or allow people to open up earlier or stay later. The law just says, and it's a very old one going back to 1896 with oyster houses and cook shops and victualling houses.
Wow.
That says if you issue it, it's from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. And if they want to be open between the hours of 2 a.m. and 6, you have to come in and have a advertised for 3 weeks public hearing. Because obviously you have 24-hour businesses and so forth, so you can do it. You just have to have the public hearing and notice before you can.
And
Can
the
we
council
grant it?
in Bristol has the authority over that.
Yes. So you can't, what you can grant at this point is 6 a.m. to midnight. And then they can come back in for the extra 2 hours if they want.
That's what I would rather do. I mean, let them get opened at least at 6, and then they can come in
I
and
agree.
do the petition for, extra hours if they want.
Thank you for pointing that out. So with that, it will be 6 a.m. to 11.
Till midnight.
Oh, till midnight?
To midnight.
Yeah,
It was just before 6, okay.
Right. It says before 6 that they can't open.
They can-
Okay.
2 a.m. to 2
Those
a.m.
2 hours before.
So I have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It's already been said, but it looks great, and good luck opening.
Much better.
The next item is the petition of Jason and Andrea Michaels, 41 Union Street, request council consideration for a curb cut. You have a recommendation from the town administrator and director of public works asking for a continuance.
With that said, I make a motion we continue this item.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay, the next is item G1A. This is the public service appointment section. This is the harbor master. You have the application of Greg Marsili seeking reappointment. You also have the recommendation of the harbor commission chairman and the town administrator.
I'll make a motion to reappoint Greg Marsili
Second.
as harbor master.
I'd second that. I think he's, by all accounts, done an outstanding job, and we're fortunate to have him, so.
Any other discussion?
Just real quickly, I support Mr. Marsili. He's done great things with the department, and this, just for the record, was advertised, and him being the sole applicant. We make this appointment yearly. I know this council, my colleagues have addressed maybe changing that, and per ordinance, maybe in the future, to maybe a longer term like our other department heads of 2 years or longer, along with other ordinances that pertain to this department, that I had a discussion with the harbor master that we need to clean up some stuff, along with some ideas of my past colleagues of fees and whatnot, and maybe we can do it all together, all at once, with the participation of the harbor master, the harbor commission, and this council and administration.
And could I just add to that? Like, I agree with you. I just, I know some of the stuff that we're limited to by state law in terms of how, some of the duties, and so I don't even know if the term can be expanded.
Yeah, actually, it's a great question. Yeah, it can.
Whatever we can.
This council must appoint, but in talking with Andy earlier,
Yes.
we can extend its term.
We did look into it. The state law does put it with the town or city council. So it has to be you, but it doesn't say the time limit within the city, nor does the charter. It's only in the ordinance with the annual appointment. So it could be changed by an ordinance amendment.
Good. Sounds good.
That's good.
Any other discussion? So there's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay, the next section is Assistant Harbor Masters. You have the request for reappointment from Alan Leach of 25 Pawtucket Avenue, Thomas Guthwine of 15 Elmwood Avenue, Charles Lombardo of 48 Constitution Street, John Motter of 87 Perry Street, David F. Girton of 58 Constitution Street, Louis E. Frattarelli Jr. of 12 Vernon Avenue, and you have a late items request from Scott Marino of 131 Mulberry Road, Adam Salinaro of 120 Fales Road. You have a recommendation provided by the harbor master.
Mr. Chairman, before we vote on that good group, I would move that we elevate David Girton to also the position of Assistant Harbor Master, and that in accordance with the recommendation of the Harbor Master in his letter of January 2nd.
I'll second that motion.
Any other discussion?
I'm in full support, and also looking at the budget and the past positions of the Assistant Harbor Master, I see no reason why not to add Mr. Girton, and especially upon the recommendations of his involvement with the pump-out boat. That's all I wanted to say.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, David.
Okay.
Upon that, I know he elevated Mr. Girton. Is in
Do
the
we
same
need to make a
motion
motion on
to
everybody
approve
else?
all the rest of the said names for Assistant Harbor Master?
Well, I think that was inclusive, correct, per the recommendation?
Okay.
That was a
Well,
specific
yeah, I think we need another vote to
Yeah.
put the whole group in.
I
now
just
that
heard
he's part of
Mr.
that group.
Girton.
Okay.
That's why.
Yes,
So
I
I
took
move
it
that
as
we,
I took it as all inclusive based upon the recommendation, but if you're more comfortable doing another vote, that's fine.
Well, I would move that we accept the full list, including Mr. Girton, for Assistant Harbor Master.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right?
Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay, the next are the auxiliary harbor masters. You have, obviously, Mr. Girton requesting reappointment, so we're not going to consider him any longer. You have the petition of Andrew Mulvey of 3 Tina Court, who is seeking appointment. You have the application of Nathan Gallison, who is seeking reappointment. You have the application of Bill Texiera, 48 Wally Street, who is seeking appointment. You have the application of Ryan Medeiros of 34 Basswood Drive, who's seeking appointment. You have the application of Daniel Blount, 136 Mount Hope Avenue, is seeking appointment. And you have the application of Seth Alex of 1115 Hope Street, also seeking appointment. You have the recommendation provided by the harbor master.
I'd like to reappoint Nathan Gallison as an auxiliary member of the Harbor Department, and I would like to make a motion to interview Mr. Blount, Mr. Alex, Mr. Mulvey, Mr. Texera, and Mr. Medeiros upon the recommendation of the Harbor Master and his input maybe before the interviews also.
Okay. I'd like to sit down and talk to him if that's all right. Prior to you guys, I'll make a recommendation.
Certainly. Sure. So there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion?
Did Mr. Gatos not send his stuff, his information back?
I haven't talked to him, so I don't know if he's seeking reappointment or not.
Okay.
I'll make a point to go see him tomorrow.
So that's just out, that will just be in the next meeting? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman? That's me.
That was you? You're
Yes,
opposed?
it's me. No,
Oh,
no, I'm
okay.
not opposing it. Just for point of clarification, since I have
Please.
oversight of the department, Mr. Dixer is in no relation to me. We just share last names. So it's important that folks out there understand that.
Thank you.
We would have got that.
It's a good last name.
The next item is item D. This is the tree warden appointment. This is an annual appointment. You have the application of Michael King, currently serving, seeking reappointment.
Make a motion to reappoint Michael King as a tree warden. He does an excellent job, and thank him for his commitment and all that he does.
Very thorough.
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second, yes.
Is there any other?
Second, yes.
Is there any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay, the next, the CRMC alternate subcommittee member, there are no applicants. We have not heard from the currently serving.
I did reach out to Dr. Breslin, but I didn't get a return call.
The next is the Waypoisett Preserve Trust with term to expire in January 2017. You have an application for reappointment from Stephen E. Johnson of 345 Channel View in Warwick, Rhode Island. Mr. Johnson also has a Bristol address.
I believe Mr. Johnson's been with the Weight Loss Preserve Trust for many years, and make a motion to reappoint.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next is the Bristol Housing Authority with term to expire in January of 2020. You have the application of Raymond Cadero, 73 Franklin Street, who's seeking reappointment.
Make a motion to reappoint Mr. Cadero with the expiration of 2020 of the Bristol Housing Authority Board.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next is the Board of Tenants Affairs with term to expire in January of 2017. Rita P. Ayers-Gallin, who currently serves, is not seeking reappointment.
Well, if we can, I know, Lou, you'll send her a thank you. We thank her for her service for many years.
Yes, we do.
An important name came up in the beginning of our meeting, Marie Tucker, and this leaves her the sole person of this Board of Tenants affair. There's many vacancies on this board, so whoever's interested to join Marie, it's much entertained.
Thanks, Rita, for your service.
Okay, the next is the North and East Burial Grounds Commission. There are two positions both with terms to expire in January of 2020. We have the interest expressed by Charles Cavalcanti and Susan Church, both seeking reappointment.
I would move that we continue the service of Mr. Cavalcanti and Ms. Church.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
And the Bristol-Warren Regional Joint Finance Committee, the council has a responsibility to name its representatives. There are 6 appointments to be made with the consideration of the town administrator also.
Does the council appoint 5 or the whole 6?
I believe you appoint 5 and you ratify the 6th.
I would move that we appoint the current members of the council to this activity and that we endorse the appointment of the town administrator to this position.
Second.
Also,
I hope there's no discussion, so all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aren't you lucky?
And the next is the amended membership list provided by Patricia Squattrito, the Secretary of the 4th of July Committee.
Question on this, Lou, is I have absolutely no opposition to it, but I noticed there were some non-Bristol residents on the list. Is there any reason why that's an issue?
Are they as full members or as associate members?
Let's see. It looks like associates.
Yeah, I think their membership is open for associate members for out-of-town persons.
Again, to be clear, I have no opposition to it. I just want clarity.
Perhaps in the future, the listing should indicate that fact of their status.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah,
Good.
as the
First, I was wondering why they were asking, like, female.
Yeah, the full and the A.
I think any volunteers should be welcome to join, especially
agree.
if they're, grew up
yeah.
in Bristol and maybe don't live here at the moment, but you
Show the spirit.
can use all the help you can get, right?
So is there a motion?
A motion to accept.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, and thank you.
Okay, the Historic District Commission, we have an unexpired term to expire in July of 2015, and an auxiliary member, a vacancy with an unexpired term to expire in July of 2016. You have an application from Jessica Doyle of 7 Naomi Street.
Make a motion, we interview Ms. Doyle. I had a conversation with her, and she just is committed to giving back to the community, and we thank her for that and look forward to her interview. She has an extensive background, and I think she'll have a good fit on one of our boards. So,
I agree with you.
So there is actually a vacancy right now as the auxiliary member?
Well, there's a vacancy for a one unexpired term to expire in July of this year, and then there's an auxiliary, that's a full member.
Yeah. yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's actually
Right.
2 vacancies.
Right, okay.
Do I have a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay, and finally, the Zoning Board of Review, you have the resignation provided by Diamantino Fonseca. He has relocated to another community.
This is very unfortunate because I know Mr. and Mrs. Fonseca did not want to leave the town of Bristol. They were very active, both of them, and we thank him for his service on the zoning board. And again, we just want to wish him the best, the very best for Mrs. Fonseca. And when this came about with his resignation, the zoning board, with the petitions that lie in front of them, I just would like to share with my colleagues. And when I saw Mrs. Doyle's intention for the Historic District Commission, with her extensive background in zoning, it might be something that we can consider during the interview process due to the fact that we're very limited on the zoning board with this resignation and with one of our members in Florida. So it kind of would help without, not having a quorum and just having a backlog with our zoning cases. So it's just something to consider. Since this came up, I just wanted to share with you.
Thank you. Please.
Yeah, may I just make a suggestion? My understanding is that he has indicated that he'd continue to serve until a replacement is found.
Yes.
So that I would suggest that you accept his resignation upon the appointment of a replacement,
So amended, I will...
rather than accepting it as of tonight, so that he
Yes.
can continue to sit.
Thank you.
So there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Just with the conditions that he's in, the quicker the better. That's why I'm trying to accommodate.
Right, and this will allow advertising and new appointment and so forth, but
Exactly.
at least he'll technically still be a member and be able to sit if necessary.
Yes, we got somebody, yeah.
And before we go any farther, I always like to say this, is that there's a lot of commissions and boards and people involved with the town, and this council, I certainly know that this administrator and this town appreciate what you do. If you're interested in getting involved in a board and you don't know if you have the capabilities or the skills, come down to Town Hall, call one of us, call anybody that you know that's involved with this board, and ask some questions. There's so many things that you can give back to the community, and there's a lot of wonderful boards. We appreciate what these boards do, and the more that are there and the more that are involved, the better the town is. Thank you.
The next item, Mr. Chairman and members of the Town Council, you have item H1, the first item under old business. This is continued from your October 8th meeting. This has to do with Councilman Stewart's request for an update to the road improvement program. You have a late item provided by the town administrator.
You want to speak to this, Tony?
Certainly, yes, I will. As the communication points out, we did apply for the grant. We are waiting to see what's happening. Although I can tell you from yesterday's conversations when I was at the inaugural, there is some restructuring happening right now. So there's some uncertainties as to how some things will proceed. So there'll be a bit of a delay. Yes, there'll be a bit of a
very politically correct, sir. That was very nice.
Yes,
So, yeah.
uncertainties
Yeah,
like that.
yes, that was nice.
So at this point, it's difficult to get some information, specific information because of the restructuring. But we certainly have put in for the grant. We expect to get that, and we will get some support on that. I know we will going forward. But we still need to meet, and I know Councilman Stewart had demonstrated interest in meeting with Director Galuska and I for us to take a hard look at what we need to do for the upcoming spring.
Yeah, I know we discussed that back in October, that after the first of the year, and that's my main concern, is we get those meetings going and see what we're going to go in spring and summer when those funds are available and how we're going to allocate them, because our roads are in just disrepair. We need to do something and start it. So, thank you.
As you may have seen yesterday, the elected, our governor, she just put into place 26 appointments, so there's some things happening at this point. But I can assure you that I will be following up on that.
I know she's a supporter of the road infrastructure part of the state, so hopefully that will fall on us too.
So true. When she was, the treasurer, she actually came to Bristol to use us as an example of what had been done, because in 2012, as all of you know already, Beta Engineering did a full study of every road in town, and actually Director Galuska had a map of all the areas, and she was quite intrigued by the whole thing, and she actually took that. So hopefully, as Councilman Stewart pointed out, she has not forgotten us, and I can assure she has not.
Oh, that's good.
I'd like to thank you, Jim, and your crew, to be vigilant and fill in all the cracks and doing the best job we can with the small, potholes and whatnot. So,
Tony, do you think we should continue this out a couple months and then revisit it in the?
I would not say the next meeting, but if you want to, jump to the following meeting, that would be a great time.
Yeah, I'm just
By
thinking
then
with the
we'll have
restructuring and everything going
The
on.
other thing
I
is,
just
Tim,
figured-
we've got a 4-week interval now instead of 3 weeks, so I
That's
would
right.
suggest we continue it to the next meeting, at least to
What's
get
your pleasure,
whatever's
Ed?
come
I'm okay
up by
with
that time.
Well, with Councilman Harishev's point, I would say the next meeting would be sufficient.
Okay.
4
I'll
weeks.
second that
We should have
motion.
some info.
All in favor?
Right?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Thank you for the update.
The next item is also continued from a previous meeting, from a December 17th meeting. This has to do with Councilman Stewart's request for an update on the Tanyard Brook project.
Actually, on just an update from the 17th, I already had report on some items there. That we 30% of the design done. We did some repairs to the culvert at the garage of Mr. Wilson on Cold Street. But in addition to that, between Director Galuska, myself, and Kevin Aguiar, we are compiling the list. The letter is already drafted, and it's going out to all of the folks that are being impacted. There's about 10 individuals that will be mostly impacted by the realignment, proposed realignment of the brook. So we need to meet with each one, and will be individual meetings. So it's not anything where anybody gets overwhelmed by it. They will have ample time to ask the questions, clarify any concerns that they may have as well.
The initial proposal had how many residents impacted? As we've gone down to 10 here, what were we initially at?
Just about it's mainly between Richmond and through Catherine Street, the end of Catherine, going towards Mount Hope Avenue.
Well, now, Tony, the engineers have been working at this for about a year and a half. What happens when all those hurdles are solved and the whole design is complete? We still don't have enough money, do we?
That's where I was relying on you, because last time you said you were going to talk to Senator Reed, and
Well,
you had
I have done
no,
that.
actually,
I actually have done that with both
Right.
Senator Reed and Senator Whitehouse. But I think what we need now is a more specific request.
no, you're
And
right.
I think we ought to get that together soon, because as the Congress convenes is when the time they put these requests in. And sometimes I think the early bird gets the worm.
Always.
So true. And I was not, I understand you were trying to reach out, but not just to put the onus on you.
No, I understand that. But I think if we could...
But it's all of us
maybe some of us
reaching
get
out.
together and make the proposal more definite and specific, and maybe ask for a certain number of dollars, then I'd be glad to help you try to obtain that.
Certainly, and I would appreciate any help. But I did have a chance to speak with Tony Simon, who actually has left Senator Whitehouse, and he has actually now become the chief of staff for the new elected mayor in Providence. And I spoke with him. He says, but make sure you follow up. I said, even though I'm not there, there's another contact, and certainly you'll be able to follow through as well. So we definitely will do that. Once we have more concrete numbers, we certainly can make that pitch to all of our reps.
Maybe we could do with this, I'd like to continue this to the next meeting, because you'd mentioned 30% design. Love to know from the engineers, where are we I know we're at 30%, but are we in a month's time at 80%? Are we at 35% next month? What's the timeline at this point?
Good point. Definitely. And actually, we may ask them to come in and make a presentation. I think it's time for them to come back and give a refresher to the town council
That would be
themselves.
great.
And actually, if you could reach out to them and find out if it's appropriate, potentially at our next meeting or the following one, if we don't want them to just come and give us a little bit of information, we want to get a great update, and if that's not appropriate at the next one, then the following is fine.
I think it'd be good if we could have that presentation at the next meeting, because
Yeah.
that's the time maybe we can then make a memo on the money needed and go for it.
And Tony, if they could let the residents around that little area know as well that the presentation's going to be, they can come in and be informed as well, so they can keep everybody in the loop.
The meeting with the residents that will be impacted should have taken place by the next meeting.
Oh, okay. All right.
So they will be informed, but we can certainly make it known, if they wish to be present.
That's going to be a fun meeting.
Well, is
Good
the
luck.
impact less or more?
I'm not-
I'm assuming the impact is less on some of them, or
Well,
is
you
it
better
more?
communication.
Correct, that is true. Well, obviously, it's right out to the public, so they all will know, that it will be coming. But once we meet with the individual residents there, we'll have a better feeling as to how things will work out.
I know they're all impacted, but I'll tell you, at the end of Catherine, some certain storms,
worst.
the way the flow goes, that's just devastating over there. It really is. On a side note, Diane, I know this. We're talking about Tanyard Brook. There is money, and I know Councilman Hebershoff brought it up in the past about beautifying next to the culvert coming into Bristol on Bristol Ferry Road. Is there anything going with that? I know there was a grant that was going to help us out with that.
Right, the town did receive a grant, and Walter Burke's actually been working with the designing landscape architect to
Great.
get the plans solidified for that area.
Beautiful.
How much is that grant?
10,000, if my memory's correct.
I think that was
More
our
than
contribution,
that.
but it was actually a little bit more than that. Our share, you are correct, yes, it was $10,000, but the number is a little bit higher. I think it was altogether $80,000 for the whole area.
That's
But our contribution was only 10. That's
When do you think
correct.
that design might be complete?
Well, as I mentioned, Walter's really heading this project. I know he's been working hard, and I don't know if you have a time frame. I hate to put it out there. because I'm
Yeah, I
not
didn't
quite sure
want
of
to. I
it.
just figured since we were talking about it, and I drive by it every day,
Yeah.
and I'm just wondering because I know we have money put aside for it. So.
Right.
Did
Why
you
don't we
check,
do
did
this?
you
Why don't
check
we
in
do-
on the stickleback? The rare stickleback fish in there?
I missed out. So why don't we do this? Why don't we get a motion to continue this to our next meeting? And also we can, if we could reach out through the administrator to get an update from Walter, if he's here at our next meeting, or directly through you on
So-
what's going
so
on with that
moved.
park. I have a-
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay, the next item is from my office regarding the Capital Project Committee for the Animal Shelter.
Mr. Chairman, I would suggest that we do not yet disband this committee, because I think later in the meeting this evening, we're going to discuss some lingering problems, and I think this committee shouldn't really be dissolved until those problems are settled.
Anybody else have any thoughts on this?
Well,
Right.
my impression was that, the work of the committee has long been done and completed, and probably could have been disbanded a month or two ago, and that, whatever issues still are left to be resolved are probably up to the administration and, to some degree, to the council in terms of the, determination of if there's settlements, whatever the cases may be. So I think that it would be fine to disband the committee, and I think it would probably streamline some of the decision-making process. I mean, I'm not sure what the administration or the chief thinks
Actually,
about
yes.
that, but
Could you
that's my perspective on it.
Both the administrator and the chief, if you wouldn't obviously
Chief, yeah.
share with us.
I'll let the chief go first.
Thank you. Yes, I agree. At this point, as Councilwoman Perello said, there is excuse me, no reason to continue on. We have not been meeting regularly. The building is up. It's complete. We're just at the final end of putting punch list items together and coming to a final conclusion. And as you know, later on today, we'll be discussing some of it. To have us on the agenda for any special reason, I think I can report to you. The animal shelter does come under me as the police chief on the day-to-day operation of there. And if there's anything you need to know, believe me, we're going to let you know.
So,
Well, I
Chief,
think
you
that's the
see
important thing, that we be able to get some testimony from you or the others if a question comes up, because you've been so close to it as it goes along.
Does that
Right.
address your concerns, Halsey?
Yeah, it does, sure.
I agree with Councilwoman Perella that this is a sole, separate motion to disband, and thank the committee,
Yeah.
and thank the chief, and thank Diane and Julie and all the members for your hard work over the years to make this such a beautiful animal shelter. And anything else, this council and solicitor and administration, along with the chief, has been in an executive session. I'd like to keep that solely separate, and I think those details will be in accordance with that type of session.
I have to concur with Chief Canario. Between him and I, we certainly can address and make sure we keep you fully informed as things move along.
So, Mary, I'm going to take what you said as a motion. Okay. And Ed?
I'll second that motion.
Because I felt like that was that way. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And I concur that thank you. Thank you for that immense amount of heavy lifting. We appreciate it, and so do the fuzzy little animals. So.
Yeah.
We appreciate the support that the council has given the entire committee.
Oh, yeah. Building's beautiful.
You still have to come into executive session, though, so don't leave too early. Okay?
Next item, Mr. Chairman, members of the Town Council, is item I-2. This is from the Town Administrator regarding the Senior Center van.
You going to give us some good news?
There's good fuzzy feelings coming our way, but that needs to be finally confirmed. I did have a conversation today with Mr. Tundra, and he had just to finalize one hurdle, but he did not see any opposition to it. So I see that. That's one move. The other is we've reached out to Warren to get their RFP for the event to see what it looked like, so we can move on and put together. I'm going to have Director Galuska take a look at it along with Maria and myself, and get something in place as we move forward with the event. But at this point, there is very positive feelings as to where we stand right now with the funding.
Well, I, for one, would like to see this. First, that's wonderful. Second, that's wonderful. Third, I'd like to see this on the next agenda because I want to see this in a wonderful place. If no one has any objections, is there a motion to that effect?
Make a motion to continue.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you for the hard work.
The next is the previously discussed annual report from the Bristol Housing Authority, item K1.
Make a motion to receive and file.
Seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Excellent report.
Also from the item K2, Mr. Chairman and members of the Town Council, you have the monthly report for November and December provided through the administrator from Stacy Carter.
Tony, what's the purpose in all these percentages? Is that just a poll of opinions or what?
From Stacy?
Well, I don't understand what all these percentages...
What that was a survey. That was a survey that was done, and those are all the responses.
Well, if it says 44.44%, what does that mean?
I think it's based on the total, so I think she was looking at what days and times would work best for them and their employees to come to the certain classes. That's how I understood it, and what time slots. So it kind of got broken up into percentages based on the total of 13. So
It's a rather impressive amount of work, but I wonder if it's necessary. It seems like a way to...
if I'm right, Tony, I don't need to...
attack with a sledgehammer.
I was trying to find I was trying to find my report here. Oh, here it is. Obviously, that was the response to each one of those questions. What would be best? When you're looking at well, these are not by pages, although it is page 4. Is that the one you're looking at? That it says Monday, Tuesday,
4 pages of percentages.
right? Yeah. And basically on number 2 there, what days would be let's try that again. What days and times would work best for you or your employees, and that is to attend meetings or to attend the workshops. And that's what they tried to do. Then obviously, as you can see, she broke it down to the various times, and pending on the responses, she recorded that. So it was the best to go an 8 to 10, a 9 to 11, 10 to 12 block, and so forth. Then she had the afternoon blocks as well, going into the evening. And that was just the responses from each one, related to the number of people that was sent to and the responses.
Well, now, are we to assume from this memorandum that there'll be a meeting with the subject of each of these lines, or will these elements be combined?
No, that would be combined. That tells us best when is the most appropriate time for those individuals to be available. So going forward, when we schedule the workshops through the Small Business Administration, we will have a better feeling as to what is the most accommodating time for each one of those businesses.
I think that's great because it's a proactive approach, because up until now we had workshops, and we provide the workshops because we want to help everybody, and only like 2 people show up. So I think this was a great assessment.
In some instances, you're very correct, and based on that information, it just would be counterproductive to go ahead and just schedule workshops, not knowing what was most accommodating for the businesses. Yeah, so this gives us some feedback. So as we put together the schedule for the upcoming for spring, summer, we have a better indicator.
Yeah, it's great to see where the need is, too. It was interesting to see marketing strategies, 21, the highest. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people are looking for a workshop on that, it's great. It's just nice to know where we can help.
That's right. After the set of workshops that we held, we came to the conclusion it didn't look too good, and so we had met with Mark Haywood, as well as the folks from the East Bay Chamber of Commerce, who were very cooperative in this endeavor, and we figured out that we just can't go ahead and schedule just for the sake of scheduling, but rather let's see what are the needs, and because some of the workshops not well attended. So was it the workshop? Was it the timing? So we needed to get some feedback from the businesses.
So if my colleagues are all set, I'll make a motion to receive and file.
You want to pass that?
So I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item is from the town administrator regarding various departmental reports.
I'd like to make a couple of notes. Chief, I was reading yours, and a couple of things came to mind that I always think is wonderful, that Police Color Guard received an invitation to attend the Patriots game on 9/21. Bristol's the only police department in New England to participate. And the other one, this one will make Councilman Harrishoff happy and probably everybody else in Bristol. In the spring, we will continue to aggressively deal with motorcycle/motor vehicle loud noise compliance enforcement. So, thank you.
Amen.
Yeah. And the A+ rating accreditation, that's awesome. Pretty cool.
I wonder if I might add to that. I get quite a lot of remarks, and maybe others do too, about speeding on the business area of Hope Street. I hope you're giving some tough tickets there, because tickets are talked about and they get around, and it'll advise people to slow down. What I find is some drivers try to drive the same speed through Hope Street they drive on Route 195. They need to use a little more judgment of where you can step on it.
Chief, what do you call them? Coupons? Is that what they are? Yeah.
Yes, that's what we've labeled them as, a coupon, but you're not getting a discount with this coupon.
Gotcha.
But we are aggressively out there on Hope Street during the day, especially when we have the pedestrians crossing back and forth. And I can assure you that when someone's stopped, the motorist, he's usually either giving a very firm warning, and the next time he'll have a coupon with an autograph from the officer on the bottom.
It might even be appropriate if one of your officers gave me a ticket tomorrow if I speed there.
We would hope that wouldn't happen.
So is there a motion?
A motion to not give Halsey a ticket, or?
Well, no, I was looking for a motion to accept these reports?
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
Just to receive and file.
Receive and
I'll make-
file, please.
yeah. I'll make a
Second.
motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
And the monitor revaluation status report, which is item K4, provided through the Office of the Tax Assessor.
I think it's great that they're on schedule and they're communicating with us like we asked, and look forward to seeing them at our meeting, giving their reviews and presentations, and I'd like to see how the ad hoc committee and everyone's working good together. So.
I've requested through Chris that we have Finnegan Brothers here at our next meeting, just to give us an update in regards to the timeline, how they're doing, any issues, and also our ad hoc committee to give us an update through a report on how they are making out and what information they want to share with us. So, is there a motion to receive and file?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item is an executive session, which we'll take up at the end of the public agenda. Then we have the individual council member agenda items, beginning with the chairman.
Before we go there, Lou, was there something else that you wanted to add? Is there a potential addition to or going back on the...
That would be up to the council.
Okay. I understand there might be a request to
reconsider one of the previous items?
Yes, at D2, which was the victualling license for the 531 Wood Street. So what do we need? Is a motion in regards to that? Please.
Procedurally, what you would need if someone wanted to do it would be a motion to reconsider. And that would have to be someone on the prevailing part, but I think it was unanimous. Any one of you could make a motion to reconsider. You need a majority vote to reconsider, at which time you would then take it up and have a further vote on whether you would or would not
Thank you.
issue the license.
So for discussion, I'll make a motion to reconsider D2.
I'll second the motion.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Come on up, please.
This is Xiaoli again.
Go ahead.
Can you just speak a little louder?
Okay. This is Xiaoli.
So you're hoping, is it my understanding that you're hoping to receive the victualling license? You can open up and serve food only while there's consideration at our next meeting for the liquor license, is that right?
Yeah, I hope I could get the victual license first, and I could sell food first, like selling only food part, no drink, but maybe later for drink.
So my question, Andy, would be, because of the liquor transfer and because that has to be cleared up by the next meeting of that pending zoning appeal, but this is just to serve the food as a victualling license, it could be separate and apart without having a bearing of that item?
Yes, I think so. It would be someone who is opening a restaurant or transferring a restaurant victualling license. Actually, don't transfer. Be a new license for someone with food only, no alcoholic beverages at all. It would still have to be contingent on a lot of items, including the fire marshal and so forth and code issues. But if you so decided, you could do that.
That was my concern, is all those specifications the solicitor just said that we talked about earlier, but more so, that bar has to be taken out. For you to, and I know we discussed where the chairs are going to be. Obviously, you're just going to put the chairs around the tables you gave in your plan. That's where the chairs are going to be. But I would only entertain the fact that if the bar was removed and all the conditions were met, that it's just serving your food. I understand you have a business to run and you're looking forward to starting your venture as soon as possible.
Of course.
So I don't know how my other colleagues feel about it.
I feel like I have mixed feelings about it, because I know you want to get settled in there, and you have to address other issues.
Yes.
And it is 4 weeks. Usually it's 3 weeks, so it's a little bit longer period of time. But I just have a couple of questions for the solicitor, I think, and that is on the claims. Like, for example, there's a claim from the attorney of the prior owner that he that shouldn't hold up this owner, right?
That would only apply to the liquor license. That's only the claim on the liquor license, not the victualling license.
Okay, and then what about this whole issue that's being before the zoning board? I mean, if this owner is not interested in going that route, does that automatically cease that petition, or?
No, I mean, it has to be withdrawn. I did speak to Mr. Alrigo this afternoon, and he indicated that they would, assuming that the deal goes through, that they would dismiss it. Now, as a practical matter, that is not scheduled for hearing until February 24th, so it's not until after your next meeting even when that would be heard. So it could...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
When you say the deal, is everything, like, if they've already purchased the business, or they're just transferring it, or is the deal just,
I don't know. I assume that they would only pay for the business when they get all the licenses. I don't know how much they would pay. Let me just say, I don't know their business deal. Mm-hmm. If it were my client, I would say, pay a little bit now if you're going for the victualling, and don't pay the rest until you actually have the liquor license in hand. But I don't know what their particular deal is. But if they do what they said they would do, as far as removing the bar and turning it into a service bar, then our zoning enforcement officer has indicated that he would say that it was in compliance with the variance that was previously granted, and thus in compliance with zoning, and that would make moot the appeal.
I just want to make clear that, I can't find my thing, but I believe the time was 10 o'clock, and then the weekends was 11 o'clock, and then on Sunday was 9:30, correct?
Yeah.
And I would just want to make sure that that remains those times, because I think
agree.
what was an agreement in the past, I think we probably made a mistake in going overboard, not being aware of some of the zoning issues. These are more appropriate times, particularly for a neighborhood and for the kind of business that you say you want to run.
Yeah, because we want to selling the food first. And for people, and we know that's a place have so many apartments there, and people don't like it noisy around nighttime. So we close earlier, like 9:30 on Sunday, and 10 on Monday to Thursday, and Friday, Saturday we open until 10:45.
Now, did you just move here?
Yeah, we just moved.
You just moved from? Did I read in here from Brooklyn?
Mm-hmm.
And so, are you living in this building?
Not really. I live next to that building. Yeah, I live 127 Franklin Street. So it's very quiet place. I know nighttime there's not so many people nearby. They don't walking around. So we won't have business at that time. So we close earlier. Maybe in future we might decide to close more earlier if we don't get a lot of business at nighttime.
So you have all your staff, everybody ready to go. When is your plan to open?
We were planning to open on January 10th or between 10th to 15th. Because we start to paying the rental, electricity and gas and everything, and we already planning that since December 10th. So it's already about like 1 month. We spend money on it, and we hope we could do some business.
Have you finalized a menu at all? Have you?
But good point. Just for clarity again, so we give her the victualling license to sell food, and you're already paying rent. And is this the purchase of the business already done?
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, and I believe it was Mr. Chen, was it Mr. Chen?
Yeah,
that
Mr.
was going for the appeal to the zoning. Even if the zoning board granted his argument, would that right then, because go to her? Wouldn't she have to be abided by going in front of the zoning?
No, the zoning decision goes with the property, so it doesn't matter who is actually operating the restaurant. And then separate and apart from that is the town council liquor license. Okay. And they've also filed an appeal with the Department of Business Regulation on the same grounds, but that is being stayed pending the zoning.
All right, thank you.
It's sort of a moot point, because this owner at this point is not interested in having a bar anyway.
That's my understanding, yes.
Right.
So for clarity, if this council says that we see the value in approving this victualling license, and ultimately maybe we see the value in approving the transfer, what we come up with as the parameters of this approval cannot be superseded by zoning? Or if we say, for example, we say it's got to be closed at 11, zoning says, no, 1 o'clock is okay. Is it?
No. Zoning, the only thing that zoning could do, well, first of all, it's only an appeal on zoning. It's not even a variance. But the only thing that zoning could do would put stricter controls on.
Okay.
They can't provide anything.
Lessen those controls.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay.
Your power as a licensing board is much greater than the zoning board's power.
Just wanted to make
So you have your menu and everything ready to go?
Yeah.
It is finalized.
Now, you said it was going to be more extensive than the menu you provided us in the packet? You were going to have a larger menu?
It's the same.
It's the same?
It include Chinese, Thai, and Japanese.
Okay.
Yeah, all kind of that.
It's quite extensive already. So.
Quite.
Well,
I think it would be, I mean, I understand your point that you're already putting out 2 months' worth of expenses with no income.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you will be back in front of us again, so I mean, it's important that you do everything that you say you're going to do and abide by the rules.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you're just the, I don't want to say the victim, but we're kind of being strict because we had a very big problem.
Yeah,
with that business. I don't know if you, like I said, I don't know if you heard about it, but so we're very cautious and concerned about what happens there, and the neighbors were quite upset about what was going on there.
Yeah.
So, before that, there was a restaurant similar to what you wanted, there was no problem.
Yeah.
So.
And I hope after this kind of this meeting, and people will change our attitude, and we will try to build a good way to.
And sure, and that's we know you will, and that's what we should respect you as a new business owner here in town. You're not the other owner, and we should respect you on that account that you're going to run a good business and accordingly. Like the councilwoman says, and many of us on this council say, there's always a review, and you might always come in front of us. So that's the guidelines we always put. So
I mean, I would vote to approve the license, or the license, with the stipulation of the times, the closure times that were in the documentation that was provided, which was Monday through Thursday, from 11 in the morning till 10.
10 at night.
And then Friday and Saturday, 11 to 11, and then Sunday, 12 noon to 9:30.
Yeah. Correct.
So those are what you said, and that's what will be on record as what your official times are.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to change those, I believe you have to come back to us to do that.
And I'll second that.
discussion,
I'd
please.
just like to say, Mr. Chairman, that I won't vote for this, and the reason is you've got a pretty long list of things to accomplish there. And the problem is, and I've seen these things in the past, if we let you open and serve drinks and cut up sushi and the counter isn't gone, there won't be any pressure to accomplish these things. And I would much prefer that we stand on the previous decision and encourage you and urge you to accomplish all the requirements before we grant the approval. So for that reason, I'm not going to vote for this motion.
with just a comment that it's just going to be serving food, and I will only vote for this, as I remarked earlier, that you do abide by the conditions, even without the liquor. You have to take that bar out of there. Just because you don't have the liquor license, I personally want that bar out of there, and I want the conditions met, because you have to meet them just by all the codes and regulations anyways to have your restaurant. And I would imagine, because you're eager and you know that you're in this for a couple of months, that I'm sure you're going to do it in a quicker manner than 4 weeks, because you want to get up and running, cooking food and serving people.
Before we go any further, Andy wanted to share something.
And the fire issues need to be, everything needs to be addressed. I think that should be stated in my motion.
That's what I just wanted to make sure that we, if you do choose to approve it, the conditions, I just wanted to make sure we collected all the conditions. The conditions would be the closing times that they have voluntarily agreed to, which is 10 o'clock Monday through Thursday, 10:45 p.m. on Friday and Saturday, and 9:30 on Sundays.
Sunday.
So it's 10:45?
I have
on
11
Friday,
o'clock on them.
10:45.
Well, she said 10:45. That's, I want to make, it doesn't
Okay.
matter, I just
Yeah,
want to
we
make sure.
may go earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, 10:45.
10:45?
instead,
10:45,
Yeah.
that works for me.
You got it.
And that they would meet all legal requirements, including fire marshal, state health, and also specifically, I think work has been done there over the past month on the property. Have you been doing work on the property? Fixing it up? Well, maybe the fibs. I want to make sure that all proper building permits are pulled as well. There should be a further inspection for a certificate of occupancy.
Have you taken out a building permit to remove the bar?
Move what?
Have you taken out any building permits
Building permit for making what?
for the work you're going to do on the
No,
property?
she hasn't taken anything out yet. In fact, the visit by the building inspector today was with regard to what permits would be necessary for the sushi case. So those permits still need to be, you need to take out those permits. And I would suggest, Mary, that a specific condition be the issuance of a certificate of occupancy for the property before.
For the license is
the
granted.
victualling, even the victualling license. And then I guess the only other question that I hear some disagreement among you is whether you want the actual bar done before the restaurant is opened or not, whether that's something that must be done before
I
the
agree
restaurant is
with
opened.
Councilman Stewart. I want it done before it's open.
Okay, so that would be conditioned to that the bar be converted to a service bar.
Yes.
Even though it won't be used as a service bar since there won't be any alcohol service, but the bar be converted physically prior to the issuance of the victualling license?
I think that's meeting halfway. Like the solicitor said, tomorrow morning, you might want to just come to community development, ask them all the permits you need, and get going, but that's where it's going.
And they'll help you through
think
the process.
if, the building official will be the person that is easiest to speak with, but as far as if you have any questions, just the people that you can put a face to today, I mean, certainly our town clerk, Lou Chirillo, this gentleman here, or Diane Williamson, this woman here, could help you in step by step what you need to do if we're giving you a lot of information at one time.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
And they're both here, both of the, all day, every day, pretty much.
Okay, so with all of those, we had a motion by Mary, seconded by Ed?
By me.
By Tim? Is there any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed.
Thank you.
Okay, so you understand, like, until all those things are done, you can't open.
Right.
But once they're all done and you get the certificate of occupancy, then you can open.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck
Thank
with your
you.
Good luck.
business.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay. Back to item M1, individual council member agenda items, beginning with the chairman.
Going to find my agenda items. They were under earlier paperwork. Actually, I don't have much, just to wish everybody a happy new year. Had a lot of conversations with a lot of residents in Bristol and have been asking about the council and the town and how's it going. And I'm always proud to say that we're very lucky to have the great people that we have around us, and department heads and employees, and the administrator and his staff, the town clerk and his staff. We're truly fortunate. And lest I forget, the boards and commissions that we spoke of earlier. We appreciate your time, effort, and energy. It's sometimes it's a thankless job, and sometimes it's a very thankful job. So if you're interested in getting involved, this is where I was going with that. Again, reach out to one of us or reach out to anybody that you know that's on a board. There's a lot of openings, and there's a lot of good boards, and they need your help, and we would appreciate it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Sweeney.
Just wanted to wish everybody a happy new year. I hope this new year is prosperous for all of us and we get a lot of good stuff done in town. I just wanted to remind everybody that the Frostbiters Bash is coming up at the Herreshoff Marine Museum on Saturday, February 7th at 6:30 to 11. It's a great fundraiser. They are going to be raising a lot of money for education, to continue their educational efforts. This is real life. It helps middle school students develop a stronger real-life experience, science, technology, engineering, and math subjects, and in improving the educational content of their exhibits. So the money goes to a really good cause. So just mark your calendars. It's a really fun time. Frostbiters Bash. It is Saturday, February 7th from 6:30 to 11. So mark your calendars. A lot of good times. Thank you.
Ms. Perella.
Yes, a couple of things. First of all, I'd like to wish everyone a happy new year and good health and happiness to everyone who is here, my colleagues and all who are present here this evening and all watching at home. And then I had a question for Tony, and I just wanted to double check on the electrical situation downtown with the lights, and only because I know that it was getting fixed and it got fixed.
Yes.
But then I noticed it was out again. Like over the weekend, or, where half the strings were on and the other half were off. Is there an electrical problem that needs to be, fixed more permanently, or was it just a fluke?
No, actually, National Grid was very helpful, working with us to have it repaired. However, we come to find out there's still a problem with the lines, so we need to do something much more permanent. I agree with you. And that's something that Director Galuski and I have already had a conversation over that.
But does it impact other things besides the Christmas lights, or is it the regular lighting?
No, it's just the connection coming down for the lights in that end. If you notice, we had the lights on from Church to Constitution.
Right, yeah.
The Christmas tree was on as well.
Yeah.
It's just the string going from Constitution to Bradford Street.
And will they be able to fix it, or will it end up being a problem similar to what we had on Wood Street that became sort of prohibitive?
No, we will be able to have those lights on for next year, definitely, no question about it. Although what I have asked is not to have them turned on, since Little Christmas is pretty much gone. I mean, it was yesterday.
Yeah.
So for the remainder of for this year, that's pretty much it. We will not see them on, but going on to next year, we will be looking at it and seeing exactly what the problem is. So you may actually see the lights on, temporarily, just so that we can check out the problem. If we work on them this year, if we have enough time, if not, definitely for next year, we will make sure that it's fixed so it does not happen again.
Yeah, no, I thought it was fixed, and then it was. I apologize to you for not having seen the email at that particular time, but
no problem.
But I thought it was fixed, and then, as I said, this
Yes.
weekend I noticed it again, and I just was curious as to the long-term fix for that. I assumed it was done for the season. I just wanted to know what had happened.
Correct. You won't see them on again,
Right.
for the remainder, of this year. But we definitely will be working on that to ensure that next year we do have lights on Christmas Day.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Because I know it was not very pleasant for some of us.
No.
We did get the calls, fair enough. We understand the residents wish to see the lights on. They bring their relatives out of town. They take a ride downtown and go, what happened? I thought we had lights on, and obviously they were not.
Mm-hmm.
It was very unfortunate.
Yeah, bad timing, certainly, on that particular day. Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Mr. Stewart.
I'd like to congratulate our first woman-elect governor, Gina Raimondo, our hometown resident, Treasurer Seth Magaziner, along with Lieutenant Governor Dan McKee and Secretary of State Nellie Gorbea, and House Speaker Nicholas Mattiello, and Senate Leader Speaker Teresa Piper-Weed, along with the whole Senate and House. We look forward to working with them through this council, our administration, and all our state leaders. And we're very proud that Representative Gallison is still the head of House Finance. And this evening, our Representative Ken Marshall was appointed Senior Majority Leader. So we're proud of that, too. So we look forward to a nice, fruitful year on all our endeavors, working with them. Also, Mr. Chair, you brought up boards and commissions. We've been bringing it up. We talk about our ordinances. We talk about the input from our board members, that we have to have a dialogue and conversation. I would hope before budget time, maybe a Saturday, Lou, amongst my colleagues, we can pick a Saturday and reach out to our boards to convene here, maybe with Andy, real quickly, just to get some feedback on what they've been dealing with in the past 2 years, whether it be flooding or whatever, and have that conversation on a nice Saturday morning. I'll be happy to bring the coffee and donuts or something healthier. I don't eat donuts, but something healthier. So if we can schedule that, I would appreciate it. Also, Happy New Year. It's very cold out there. Please take care of your elderly, your pets, and if you see something, reach out to the police department because it's not right. We have to take care of one another. And with that, I want to thank Mike Davis and Mark for being here tonight. I'd like to thank everyone who came out tonight, everyone watching at home, and have a great night. Thank you.
Mr. Stewart, just a point of clarification. On the boards and commissions, I know we've talked about this previously. I just want to be sure that we are going to be inviting the right people. I'm assuming that you're really talking about the core boards,
zoning,
not
planning,
zoning,
HDC.
planning board.
Usually our boards that
commission.
have to abide by, the ethics and laws
Yeah,
of...
well, they all do, but I imagine it wouldn't include everyone. It was just basically those core sort of land use boards. Is that really what we're talking about?
Why don't I get back to you?
Yeah, why don't you get back to me on what, so that we can sort of get that in process?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. And Mr. Harrisoff.
Carrying on from the very constructive comments of Councilman Stewart, I'd like to observe that new council, constituted of the same people, and a new year and a new beginning, we have really an opportunity to get into some new initiatives. And all of us at this table have expressed over the last period of time a great urge to improve the businesses in Bristol, bring in more businesses, and thereby improve the job market, which is so much needed by our citizens. And I think we can take considerable inspiration in that desire from Governor Raimondo. She made it the core of her very impressive inaugural speech yesterday. And I find it very pleasing that she's not only trying to wake everybody up and get some things done quickly, but that she's adopted the practice to try to initially build up the already existing Rhode Island businesses instead of just jumping out to try to bring in new ones. Because there's a lot can be done to help businesses very quickly, whereas to attract new businesses from out of state is a longer process. And in fact, I think both in the state and in Bristol, the way to bring in new businesses is to prove by real accomplishments that we treat our present businesses well and encourage them along. So the two elements are really connected. So the question is, what can be done? Well, I would propose that we take the lead from the governor but apply it to our own town. And I would propose that we ask the two questions, one of which is, what does your government do now in regard to regulations and taxes that hurt your business? What is there that gets in the way of your progression and advancement? And I'm sure there are some things, and we need to be told what they are. It brings to mind the fact that the tendency in government is to pass a lot of new laws or new ordinances, but seldom are they ever removed. And the solicitors reminded us this evening that we're governed by a 1896 law regarding the hours of opening of businesses. And also, whether you know it or not, there is in the books a law that allows citizens to graze their cattle on the town common. Well, maybe that isn't such a bad law, but perhaps it's one we don't need at the moment. So the point is, we should examine our laws and our ordinances, and if there's some ordinance that we have just out of habit that hurts businesses, we should disband it, cancel it. And the other question I think to ask is, both state-wise and certainly town-wise, is what new innovations should your government do to help businesses? let us know what it is that this town can do to help build up the existing businesses and to provide more jobs. So if we can get the answers to those two questions and go about a plan to implement changes, maybe we'll have a very big impact. And let's keep taking inspiration from the governor about that. I'd also just like to finish by saying that the governor has particularly said that she wants to build up the marine industry. And there's no town stronger in the marine industry than the town of Bristol. In fact, it's sometimes said there's no state that's stronger than the marine industry, certainly per capita, than the state of Rhode Island. So that's a good opportunity for us to work together to build up the marine industry. And just to also remark further about what Councilman Stewart said, isn't it extraordinary that a Bristolian, Seth Magaziner, is the treasurer of the state of Rhode Island, at the same time that Representative Ray Gallison is the chairman of the Finance Committee. So once again, it shows the strength of Bristol, and let's take advantage of every opportunity we have.
Well said. I said well said.
Town administrator agenda item.
It's very quiet in here. In case you're wondering at home.
How dare you compliment
Well
someone?
said. That's what I said.
All right, thank you.
Councilman Hershoff, I love that idea about the cows in the town common. You know, that really gives quite a perspective to and character to the town of Bristol. You know, so let's not...
We shouldn't give any ideas, because that's going to be the next article, is people on the common with cattle.
Mayor DiBiasio in New York, who wants to eliminate those wonderful carriages that carry people about the city.
So true.
If we have, maybe we should get some farmer to let us take a picture of a cow on our common and send it to Mayor DiBiasio.
I think Chief Canary will be a little busy trying to figure out, you know, the officer will be a little concerned about that one. On a very serious note, our condolences and prayers go to our rep, Kenny Marshall's mother-in-law passed away. And also former Captain Rich Almeida has passed away as well, and both of them have been buried. Our prayers and condolences go to both of the families. Councilman Stewart already mentioned about the cold weather. I'm glad you touched up on that, because province already canceled schools due to the cold weather. I'm not encouraging that we do that here in Bristol, but as he pointed out, some cautions with children, elderly, and obviously the pets. It's very important. I agreed wholeheartedly with that. The other piece is today, also I learned that there'll be child screening. Any parents who have children of preschool age and would like to have their children screened for motor skills, whether it's fine or gross motor skills, they can do that on January the 14th. At the library between 9 and 12, 9 a.m. and 12 noon. So that's going to be done at the library. That's a great time. I remember when I was with the school department, we used to do this. I used to assist with this. And this is a very important activity to determine whether there's anything that should, that should be detected early on before children actually start kindergarten. So any parents who have it, it's free. And again, it's going to be January 14th from 9 a.m. to 12 noon at the library. So take advantage of that. It's a great time to have your child diagnosed, especially if you have any concerns or any development concerns. That being said, Happy New Year to all. And enjoy. Thank you.
I just had one other thing, if I may. And I thought Tony may have expressed the condolences. I just wanted to also express condolences to the family of Fred Pacheco, who passed away during the holidays. If you knew Fred, and if you didn't know him, you've read about him. He was an extraordinary, enthusiastic gentleman who was very involved with so many organizations. I don't even think I could begin to remember the whole list, but Rotary was very near and dear to his heart. The 4th of July was very near and dear to his heart. And he was involved with many organizations as a citizen that helped facilitate many of our projects in government. And the one that I always comes to my mind is Franklin Court, because that project back in one of the reasons I actually got in, when I was first on the town council in the late 80s, it was sort of, there was try to get a project and maybe senior housing there, and everyone was very much afraid of what that could become. And then, so nothing happened with the project for many, many years. And then finally, there was another attempt, and Fred was in charge of trying to bring the community together. And I remember meeting in the summer evenings at St. Elizabeth's Church Auditorium, and it was, not the auditorium, but in there, the gym area. And, to help bring the public and feel confident about that project. And the result is what we have today, is an outstanding independent living and assisted living complex. And, I'm not sure that would have been there if it weren't for Fred and his skill in bringing people together. There are many other projects of those that he involved himself in relating to town organizations and government, as well as nonprofit organizations. So I know he'll be very much missed. He was there. He was so happy that he was able to see through the project for Dr. De Silva that was unveiled. I think it was like in August or September. And so I just wanted to express the condolences on behalf of myself, and I think all of our colleagues in the council, to his family, and to thank him for all the work that he contributed to our community to make it a better place. And he was a great Bristolian and a very enthusiastic person when you met him, and very warm and caring about everything. So thank you for
well said, Mary. Thank you for saying that.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I'd like to also call attention to the loss of another very, very outstanding Bristolian, and that's Stanley Livingston, Jr., who died on New Year's Day. He was a very highly decorated naval officer in World War II. He was actually born in Hawaii, and he married Martha Livingston, his wife Martha, and they were married for, her name was Nicholson. They were married for 71 years, and Stanley passed away at the age of 96. And they have 51 descendants, of which 16 are great-grandchildren. And almost all of them were at the memorial service held on Monday to remember this very outstanding man. He was a man of impeccable character, great enthusiasm. He had a distinguished business career as well as the Navy, and he was tremendously helpful to all sorts of institutions in Bristol. He and Marty Livingston were helpful to so many of the nonprofits, and one of them was our Harrisburg Marine Museum, for which we're very, very grateful. And he was a great sailor. He went to the Bermuda race 7 times. He was the Commodore of the very prestigious Cruising Club of America. He sailed across the ocean, I believe, 5 times. And Mrs. Livingston was almost always on board. She was the cook and also steered the boat. So they're a most outstanding couple, and one that all of us in Bristol can be very proud of.
Again, well put, and thank you for sharing.
Ready?
Yes, sir.
Actually, if I can just have, before the executive session, I just wanted to hand out a memo to the council. The chairman had asked a question regarding HUD funds and Roadmap Rhode Island, and I had prepared a memo in response to that. It's not on the agenda. It's not an emergency, so I'm not asking to add it to the agenda. But if I can pass it out, and
the clerk can add it to the agenda for the next meeting if you have any discussions or questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This was a concern, I think, as a whole.
Yes.
I think the other aspect of this, I mean, I haven't read this, but I believe that the second part of this is the development of a housing plan. Is that correct?
Well, I really don't think we should be discussing it since it's not on the agenda, but I wanted to give it to you, get it out there publicly, and we can discuss it at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for this. This is very worthwhile for us to have.
So, I'm sure we haven't heard the last of it.
Right.
And with that, I'd ask for a motion to go into executive session pursuant to Rhode Island General Laws 42-46-5A2 litigation regarding the animal shelter construction project.
So moved.
Seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.